I'm Mike Reynolds. I'm the Business Technology Executive for Service Digitization. I have been using Automation Anywhere since 2017. The very first bot that was rolled out was on my team. So seeing the control room, seeing the code in progress and evolve over the years has been a pleasure. Hey, we have a pretty big shop nowadays, so we have 324 automations in production. So our use cases were concentrated in loan services, but most recently, our initiatives have been targeted in the control space, so automating the things that make the bank go round and round and seeing that the bank is in a good position every day. We have a backlog in the hundreds, so that's not something that we'll finish anytime soon. It's definitely a marathon to finish all the things that we need to do. I think there's several things that we value. So the control rooms and monitoring the performance, making sure everything is up and running, that has been a great feature, but from a design and the capacity of developers, the intuitive interface, it's a workflow-driven design session, and so following the flow of the users alongside with code makes for an easy automation that everyone can understand. Automation Anywhere has improved our organization since 2017. In 2017, there was a lot of hype about RPA. Is it real? Are we going to achieve the benefits? And they paved the way for us to see those benefits, and we continue to grow every year. In those early days, we had 28 automations in our first year. We thought we were pretty proud of that number in the year. In 2023, we created over 100 automations in a single year and moved those to production. So you can see the volume and the increased capacity for our businesses, the employee engagement. When we talk about bots now, it's how can they help? No real concerns of, hey, they're going to replace our jobs. So that adventure over 7 years has grown and we've matured with it. The tools are fundamental solid. Now, when I think of self-healing, like, hey, here's an automation and there's a new prompt, like maybe one of our patches, Windows patches has occurred and a prompt is being able to handle those kind of things on top of what Automation Anywhere already does, and then automatically click through, do the reboots that are necessary to just have a clean run so no one has to wake up in the middle of the night. That would be amazing. That's my magic wand. If I could have one wish, that's what it would be. Very manual beforehand. I think of batch processes where integrations of systems were pretty costly and took a lot of time, mapping database fields from screens down to the next system, versus with Automation Anywhere, you get the visual input of the screens. You can click on those fields, not have to do the data mapping, extract them, and then correlate them to other systems almost instantly and visually. That's an interesting question, and initially we trained 45 people, just whoever raised their hands, we said, hey, fantastic, we'll train you. About 65% of those initial trainees were from the business. A couple of years later, we noticed that the people that created the automations did really good. They're receiving promotions, and now all of a sudden we didn't have the people to support those automations. So we made a shift and said, hey, business users, you want to come to technology? We're going to centralize development, and 13 said yes, and we kept building. Now we're a team that's 40 strong. So how would we assess the learning curve for Automation Anywhere? They provide a lot of support with classes that you can take online, as well as whether you're a business user or a developer. On my team, we spend 2 weeks training you on the tool, how things work. And within that couple weeks, simple automations are able to happen. And then about 6 months down the line, some of the most complex use cases can be handled by those individuals. Right now, our 324 automations touch right around 120 different systems. So our core platforms are integrated, APIs are being used for SharePoint or imaging systems, so that we don't really have a reliance on the UI. And so the integrations, we just continue to grow. Well, Automation Anywhere, just the design, the tool allows you to jump in with workflows initially and lay out the complete automation, and then you can get into the details. So for us, it's particularly powerful because it aligns to the different systems that we work with, as well as providing connectivity to the underlying system, seeing the screens to get into the details of that workflow, make for a great design process for automators. It's affected all areas. Let's just be upfront with that. When we think of the capacity, so I go back to 2020 and the early days of COVID and the SBA CARES program, with the payment protection program specifically, we had 9,000 tellers that no longer going into the bank day one. We pivoted to the SBA program and had those 9,000 tellers calling a variety of small businesses. We still needed 1,000 more people to do the due diligence, and that's where RPA shined. We were able to fill that capacity gap and immediately become one of the top 3 players in the space. So when I think of just day-to-day employee engagement, we're focused on the controls of the bank. Those happen maybe once a month, once a quarter, once a year. So those are activities that you really have to prep for and document really well. Well, guess what? RPA, it does the same thing over and over really well. Yeah, Automation Anywhere has helped us save on both time and cost. When we think of the overall commitment, we run right around 750,000 hours of runtime on bots per year. So, significant amount of employees. Let's say that's about 450, 500 employees worth of work done every day, and just the overall capacity would be hard to replace. Automation Anywhere's ability to provide automation at scale, we've obviously pushed that limit. We're at 324 automations. That's over 4,200 tasks executed every day. So from a scale and monitoring perspective, we know which bots are running, which ones may be going slow, maybe some didn't start. The ability of the control room to monitor those and allow us to jump in and help out when necessary is paramount to our success. So how does Automation Anywhere help us find value? We do use professional services from time to time to augment both our capacity and just the capabilities, the new things that happen, new ways of doing things. This is a very fast-moving environment. So the things that you did 5 years ago, they're gone. We threw them away. We upgraded into new versions and have new capabilities. So keeping up on the latest and greatest, always a challenge. And then, hey, new ways of development, sharing those methods, whether it's webcasts or part of the Pathfinder program, we're always curious about. Oh, wow. My favorite aspect of Imagine, it's definitely the people, the networking, the seeing the faces over and over, hearing the success stories, talking about the war stories. How did you automate this? Or whenever you did this, did you find this problem? The stories are amazing. So, hey, Automation Anywhere, being able to come here and see the experts in the product, it's a very focused event. So if you're a user, you can hear the stories, the challenges that other people have, and then start to leverage those in your own environment. First off, the people and the environment and just the focused execution, the amount of things that you're going to see is overwhelming. So take notes, grab cards, make the contacts. I think that's ultra important. And then probably the last thing, have fun. So auto IT is probably one of the old school, items that we had looked at and used for, specialty use cases. Of course, when we think of ETL, all the standard tools, whether it's SQL, Oracle, we still have all those, but for speed and simplicity and getting things to production fast, we'll leverage Automation Anywhere. Often require a data expert, right? You got to go to database tables, got to do extraction, ETL type activities, have to schedule that, know if there's conflicts within other systems, if there's downtime that you may not be able to run those pieces. It's true coding. So when you think of the testing that's also required, the delivery time is not measured in weeks, it's measured in months. So those are the big differentiators. Of course, we'd all like everything to integrate seamlessly, but the real world comes into play, and I'm glad we have Automation Anywhere to fill that gap. The setup for us was probably the longest lead time. We're a bank, so we always want to scan the code base. We want to jump in, understand the connectivity, how are things going to happen. So a lot of planning type activities before the install. And then we started in 2017, so that was, I think it was version 7 of Automation Anywhere. So we went through version 10, then we were on the A360. So all of those have been better experiences as we progress through time. From a cost perspective, we find it comparable to other products out there. So I wouldn't say huge differentiators, from that perspective. Yeah, absolutely. So have we seen a return on investment? We are net positive in our spend. So I'm not saying that we're a cost center, we're not a profit center. We've managed to prioritize the highest use cases from a cost perspective, cost save perspective. We are on-prem, and we have a couple installations. So we have a PCI compliant installation, as well as our normal network. Seamless. From a server perspective, we run about a dozen servers in 4, let's say, dev, IT, QV, prod environments. So we'll continue to do the first servers in dev and migrate them all the way through prod. Any issues that we have along the way, customer service is right there with us to troubleshoot. Yeah, solid 10. We pick up the phone, we call people, we create tickets, we get responses almost instantly. They've been very great to jump on at any time that we've asked. From a stability perspective, whether it's servers or virtual desktops and agents running on that, we have very few issues. The control rooms, we use multiple servers, so we've never experienced an outage or downtime. Yeah, we've had 1 or 2 nodes go down, usually because of hardware issues, but it's resilient and the software communicates and knows exactly where it's at and not missed a beat. Definitely scales. The screens prioritize which things, you have dashboards that say what's working, what isn't, and those type of activities help drive us to where the problems are that we need to resolve. Solid 10. From an RPA perspective, has all the core functionality. We can go to the systems and automate them, as well as the reliability, performance monitoring, the development time.